Hey guys, welcome to another lesson of Pro Teachers Do. Today I have with me, first time in a bit of a while, Jared.
How you doing?
And today we're going over Day of the Krypton Man, or Eradication as it's also known as in the trade, which is the first full story with the Eradicator. It's not what introduced us to the Eradicator. That happened during Exiled, but it's the first time where the Eradicator makes its move. Starting with issue 460, then it takes a couple of issues before it picks up. But 460 also sets up some other plot points that give context later on. Now, Jared, you're well aware of the Eradicator.
I know the concept of the character, correct?
Yep. Well, yeah, this is what it's for. Basically, the whole point of the story is that now the Eradicator is not the character itself until later on. In fact, it doesn't get the personified body until afterwards.
Okay.
But yeah, we open up with some people heading to a couple of scientists who had met up with Superman a few issues before, and they're coming to this giant crack in the ice. They don't know what it is, but then all of a sudden, these tentacles grab them and pull them in, and then these Kryptonian droids come on up. None of them are Kellex. Kellex has not existed yet. I want to make that clear. I've seen you sporting a lot of different looks, Lois, but you have to admit, this one's a bit derivative. Of course it's derivative, Clark. It's the Perry White look. If you really want to look like the Chief, you'll need 50 more pounds and a cheap cigar. 50? Try 100. Sorry, nice try, Clark, but it's not working anyway. I still can't. Basically, now, the nice try is because he's trying to make her laugh. Because Jimmy earlier, so some device connected with the Eradicator has caused him to have the elongated elastic lad stretchy abilities, and it's been really bothering him. Like, it happens randomly and all that.
Of course.
I still can't get my mind off poor Jimmy Olsen. If Superman doesn't succeed in curing his stretching problems, and careful, Superman's a good guy, Lois, but he's no miracle worker. We can't allow ourselves to expect too much. I should also point out, this is still during the point where we're not going to go over the issue, but in 650, they still reference how Lois still believes Clark and Superman were raised as brothers thanks to Pa Kent's stupidity.
Okay, there you go.
Even you guys admit, for Pa Kent, that's a boneheaded move.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, now, I get what he was going for. Even you have to admit, you get what he's going for. He didn't think it through all the way.
No, absolutely not.
Yep. But this is Jimmy we're talking about here. And not only that, but Professor Hamilton told me that Superman is responsible for his dilemma. So he has to do something. Hamilton told you that, Clark! Oh my gosh, hope you're not infected too. No, just a headache. So sudden and painful that. Here, let me help you. Want me to call a doctor? No, I'll be fine once I get an aspirin. Are you sure about that? No offense, but you look awful. Now see here? This is a Lois that still cares about him as Clark. They're not dating, nothing. But she's well past the bitchy, you scooped me, Lois, that Byrne did. She is well past that. And I've been like, odd. In all the years I've known Clark Kent, I've never really known him to be sick. I guess it is possible I haven't been paying that much attention to Clark. Guess I have taken him for granted all this time. Ooh, she's realizing. By then we're introduced to Colin Thornton, I believe, who is the head of Newsweek.
Okay.
And he's also Satanist in one of the longest subplots that took forever to get resolved. And then when it did, it just got tossed aside during Day of Judgment or Vengeance. But yeah, he's here because he's saying he wants to hire Clark. Hire Kent? Why? Why not be? I'm a better writer and twice the dramatic flair and awards. And on top of all that, you're incredibly modest as well, I see. Ha! Unfortunately, I'm not looking for a writer. I'm looking for a new managing editor. Au revoir, Miss Lane. So yeah, he wants to hire him over to be an editor. And then look at this, a Coke can, Coke, not soda, Coke.
Yeah.
What the Eradicator? Hold on, now everything's back to normal. Did I hallucinate the Eradicator or no? Ever since I brought that Kryptonian artifact back from space, it's caused one nightmare after another. First, it destroyed my apartment when Matrix touched it, and then it actually restructured Jimmy Olsen's DNA code. I thought I'd seen the last of it when I buried it in the Arctic, but it seems I was mistaken. The Eradicator is still functioning, still interfering in my life. Next stop, Antarctica. Now, this is when
This is where the Eradicator from Superman and Lois came from.
Huh?
Because didn't they have the Eradicator in like a season, in like season 1 of Superman and Lois, where like implant people?
Yep. And also, this is when Jurgen was still on Adventures of Superman. He had not gotten the main book yet.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so he's flying on over there, but and yet he stops a few. Tells them whalers, knock it off. Hey, who said Jurgens isn't political? Remember in the Odds Effect how he did the illegal immigrant stuff too?
Yeah.
But Jurgens can get heavy-handed when he wants to, but he does it in passing. Have you know that? It's just a small, brief tangent. It's not the main story.
Yeah, because he recognizes that'll turn people off real fast if it's not in like small doses.
Like this. This is a small dose, and it's something you can agree with. It's like, and it was topical at the time. Now, of course, Perry's like, now listen and listen good, Thornton. You can offer him money, cars, anything. Hell, you can even make him president of your blasted magazine. I don't care what you offer him. You aren't going to get Clark Kent. Why don't you let him make the decision, White? Kent is one of the best. His writing represents a cross-section of America that most writers miss. That Kansas upbringing has given Kent an enduring gift, White. He knows people and how to reach them. You think I don't know that? Clark Kent's a successful columnist because he has principles. Exactly, which makes him perfect to head up a weekly news magazine. And you're doing this because of what happened back in '77, right? That was between you and me, Thornton. Leave Kent out of this. I'm doing this because Clark Kent is a good man and I want him. And you would do well to remember that what Colin Thornton wants, Colin Thornton gets. Okay, with Thornton, if you didn't know about the Satana stuff, which is not important here, you would think he's a decent busy man. He's not shady. He's not Luther. But he's also like, this is just a typical business guy.
Yeah.
A very suave one, that's for sure. But yeah, then we get a summary. I mean, that is one thing I always did like about the triangle numbers. We will still keep getting summaries for people who were new. But again, notice how brief it is. About him getting it from Cleric, what happened to Jimmy and him throwing it in. But then, this is where we start to get the fortress.
Okay, I see.
This is the first time we get the fortress, and look at that.
So this is how the Fortress of Solitude is built?
Yes, from the Eradicator.
Cool. That's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, the Eradicator just generated. That's why he destroyed it during Return of Superman.
Okay, that makes sense.
But yeah, all these scientists, and yeah, this is where the implants are, as you pointed out. Yeah, and then they bring this gateway that somehow, they don't explain too much about it, but just, this gateway just generates the material. But yeah, like, why are you bringing the material through? For that matter, what exactly is on the other side of that gateway? Is it another dimension where the robots are making all this stuff? You two can't tell me anything. You become worker drunk. There's only one place I can find answers. And as he decides to talk to the Eradicator, which is when he gets a summary about why he was created. When you had Cleric try to make a statement to all the people of Krypton. And so that's why they create the Eradicator? So that those who leave will die. To keep them stuck on Krypton. That's why. And it was from a House of L. One of his ancestors. So yeah, I present to you the embodiment of Krypton in all its glorious ideal. It is capable of initiating total eradication though in truth, it is our salvation. Why is it so small, Kal-El? How can this diminutive tool rescue us from the Cleric's dangerous ravings? As an off-worlder, the Cleric's thoughts are tainted, contaminated by the faulty teachings of others. Oh boy, you can hear this. But again, this expands more on what Byrne had done.
Okay, that makes sense.
Would you agree with that? This expands more. Like, you can see why they're thinking this, even though you know it's just as wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
But basically, it's keeping them all stuck on Earth now. That's why. And then they basically made it clear, like, even though my father erased them from my genetic makeup, I will be the only man to have ever successfully leave the planet alive. So they're adding this more to exemplify why they're never going to have one of those, there's a few Kryptonians lingering out there. No. After this, they were stuck on Krypton. Again, I like that.
Yeah, me too.
And then we get about what happened. Yeah, as soon as they left, they all died. And then, Kal-El thought he had it all figured out, but he never planned the Eradicator itself leaving Krypton, which it did. Clara took it with him. But yeah, so he's trying to say, I demand that you terminate the operations immediately. Blast it all, I said, stop! Shows you that he's fed up with the Eradicator. Oh, and like you interfere with the purpose, traveler, and that cannot be permitted. You will not be tolerated no longer. Uh-oh, a big machine coming through, and he realized I have absolutely no control over the Eradicator. And thus it grabs him and it zaps him, and then something happens. We don't know what yet. But then next time we see Clark, he shows up and he's all like, hey, I'm back. Hey, yep, I'm feeling a lot better now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what? You know what I mean? You're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Then next we get the Brainiac trilogy.
Oh boy.
But we're not going over that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then we get a brief, so I'm just going to breeze through this one a little bit, because this is where he gets a bit more visions about, or this is also when he gets told about the offer, and he'll eventually accept it.
Mm-hmm.
Meets up. Of course, Hamilton is a bit pissed off after what happened to Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I don't blame him.
Mm-hmm.
But then he realizes, I remember and then the Eradicator tries to raise up Earth's temperature. So it leads to a big fight between them all. And he finally is able to force someone through. And then it seems, for a moment, he thinks he's able to regain control of the Eradicator. Mm-hmm. After having all these visions back to with his parents and everything. He then starts, and then this is where we get the fortress fully formed.
Mm-hmm.
But now we get to the main story. Now, have you ever read Exile?
No.
That's when Superman, after killing the Phantom Zoners, he then had a bit of a mental break where he started in the evening dressing up as gangbuster and beating up people Batman style.
Wait, Superman killed people?
No, not killed. Beat up. I said beat up. He was still holding back.
You know about the Phantom Zoners.
Oh, yeah. He killed. This was Burns' big fuck you to DC before he left. He did it out of spite. Now, these were the Phantom Zoners, and he did kryptonite on them, but it was just the fact that he just simply showed up and like, you're going to be executed. And again, it was the way none of the writers liked it. But Jerry Ordway was the carryover, and he and Carter talked over, they realized, why don't we play off of it? Because again, the fact that Byrne just had it be, he did it, and then he acted like, oh, it's fine. But then the writers were like, no, you don't have him just a kill and then accept it. So then they had to be, he then accepts it, he then they have it be, oh, it ate up at him. It was eating him up inside. So
yeah, because Superman is not that much of a sociopath that he would just kill people and be fine with it. He would deal with some.
No matter how bad, no matter how evil they are.
No matter how evil, he's still gonna deal with some psychological trauma. Unless it's Injustice Superman, which that version didn't exist yet.
Yes, but yeah, so thus he then goes into exile in space because he doesn't trust himself on Earth anymore. He's afraid.
Pretty cool.
And now he goes into exile. And then eventually ends up on Warworld where he meets up with Mongol.
Oh, cool.
And then he's putting a fight to the death against this guy named Draga. But then everyone's told, kill, and kill him. He's like, I am Superman. I do not kill. And that's when he would make the vow to never kill again. Not even the Xenomorphs.
So that's where Draga from Panic in the Sky comes from.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Panic in the Sky is a follow-up to this.
Okay, I was wondering where the hell this guy came from.
Yes, he was from Warworld, and here he wants revenge. He wants, oh, look at this. Only still 75 cents. Ow, that hurts. That hurts.
Wow, yeah, that does not feel good.
Like thrills, chills, hills, no spills. I told the boy I did this before Lobo won the lotto and owned the Ace of Clubs, so he's still just a wandering, vagrant drunk.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is where we get the first, this is early Lobo.
So it's kind of like Pretty Boy Logo from the New 52.
This was original Lobo.
Yeah.
So Pretty Boy Lobo was basically trying to revert him back to how he used to be.
But the problem is that he already had another identity before they could do that. So they were like, no.
Yep, but anyway, I don't know why this didn't occur to me before. It's such a logical location, miles beneath the Antarctic in a fortress dedicated to my Kryptonian heritage. What more fitting place could I find and to store fragments of my long-dead homeworld? What better place to take the kryptonite? He found some kryptonite shards in a previous issue. Like, it'll be away from prying eyes. So yeah, he basically put it in there. And then we find out then, yeah, again, what happened, what I showed you before, and then also dealing with some of the other, the triumph of science over barbarism is what he had learned about Krypton.
Okay.
But yeah, so we get summary of that. Then see, look, he just puts the kryptonite and lead and then in the ice. What better place to hide it?
Yeah.
But yeah, this is where Draga meets up with this cabbie. Meanwhile, Lobo, hey, you schlubs, where's the party? Lobo's got some sorrow to drown. Hey, you, Koza, you ruined my shot. I am a Koza, and you split my hooch. And now you're blocking the bar. What's the party ever got to do to get a drink in this joint? And so, yeah, they decided to hire him. Why? Because they want to witness, we would have liked to see you take this Kryptonian from planet Earth instead of that waste Draga. Basically, they want him to go after Superman.
Okay.
I've been there. Jokers. Champions were a bunch of jokers. Say, how about we offer this? Kill the Superman and we make you rich beyond belief. So they give him these goggles to record and everything. And yeah, he's going to head out there. Even has this guy named, who teleports, Ralph. Ralph is his name, and he floops when he teleports, and yes, it makes the sound, floop.
Oh wow!
So he's going to teleport there for all the money. Now, by this point, Clark has accepted the job, so he's an editor now. It's no use. I can't concentrate. I'd rather be back in the Arctic, poring over the array of relics, the artifact installed there. Uh-oh! That ain't good.
Yeah, it's not.
Notice. This is the moment where you're realizing he's becoming more want to focus on the Kryptonian heritage rather than the job of being Clark Kent.
Okay.
So yeah, then we see that Jimmy's there waiting to talk to him, and are you like I don't know. I'm uncomfortable with that. Yes, you are the boss, Mrs. Kent and Mr. Kent. Mr. Kent called to tell you that he won't be back as planned. He'll have to talk to you another time. Jimmy's not stupid. He notices the phone came from his office.
Yeah.
So she told him, she lied for him, and Jimmy just like, the intercom button on her phone was lit. That came from Clark's office. Why is he ditching me? And of course, she's pissed off. She's even saying, Mara, I explicitly asked not to be bothered. What on earth could be so important for you to ignore my request? My sense of values? Look, I just lied for you. Don't ever ask that of me again. And another thing, that pen fort of yours waited for a long time to see you, only to be turned away. Surely you could have at least given him a few minutes. Don't presume to tell me my business, Miss Talbot. I was hired to put out a magazine, and you're here to assist me. Again, see? Dick! But again, did it because he's thinking the Kryptonian side is coming more and more up. Yeah, my life is so much simpler as Superman than as Clark Kent. Bullshit!
Oh boy.
Again, you see right here what I mean, right?
Yeah, I've always said there has to be a balance between the two because Superman is both. That's why he keeps the Clark Kent name. He might as well just abandon it.
But this is why pre-crisis, at least before the Bronze Age, was so stupid about it. Because he was Superman disguised as Clark Kent. To him, Clark Kent, he could have dropped it whenever he wanted. He just did it because he could. There was never a reason pre-crisis for him to have Clark Kent. Ever. Can you name me one reason pre-crisis? Why?
Besides the secret identity, no.
Yeah. Did he really need the secret identity pre-crisis?
Not really.
It was there because it was built up.
Mm-hmm.
It was there because it was there from the beginning, but everything they told showed he didn't need it. Hell, Mom, Pa, Cat were not that important to him pre-crisis.
Yeah.
They weren't.
Mm-mm.
Oh, but yeah, Lobo shows up to mock Draga, even landed on his foot. That stench. What is, basically that stench, it going floop. He's basically teleporting when he farts.
Mm-hmm. Oh, God.
But I love it. They don't even make it obvious.
There's a character James Gunn should make a movie about.
Dude, it would be as a joke. He wouldn't do the whole movie about it. Dude, why would he make a whole movie on Rolf when no one even knows who he is?
He's making a whole movie on the Authority.
Just a lot of people know about the authority still.
Not in the general audience. Just saying.
Okay, but yeah, we're getting Jimmy summarizing about a lot about what's Cadmus and everything, and he knows his dad apparently worked for Cadmus at one point. Oh, they go. It's Lana's birthday. They're all happy for that. Oh boy. So, but Clark's running late and everything. But Clark, greetings. I'm so glad you could be here. Where are your manners, son? Ma's right. You're gonna let this gal limp across the room for her birthday kiss? Last time one of my kisses got that reaction, we were in 3rd grade and I was an icky girl. He's like, cake, anyone? I'm not hungry. What's wrong? Eat your mom's cake, or they'll both be mad at you. At least until you give Lana her present. I didn't bring her anything. He says Kryptonians never did much to celebrate the passing of yearly lifespans like Earthlings do. Fascinating, Clark. Again, see?
He's starting to sound more robotic.
Because but he's being more Kryptonian. This is where his Kryptonian, I hate to say this, this is what a pure Kryptonian Superman would have been like without anything. That's what the Eradicator is turning him into. Now, granted.
In that era.
Now, granted. This is not how Jor-El would have raised him.
No.
But Laura would have. Burn Laura would have.
Burn Laura, yes. The burn era of Krypton, yeah. 100%.
Yes, burn Laura would have raised. This is the Kal-El Laura would have been proud of, but Jor-El would have been disgusted by.
Mm-hmm.
He even stops up and look, a Concorde, remember those?
Oh, yeah.
Yep, there's Lex. You're not going to see much of Lex in this story, by the way.
Okay.
Oh, and there's Superman's pal. Goes in the Ace of Clubs and, oh boy, just causing a ruckus. And look, he even hits him with the chair like, I know I'm tough. How about you? And basically, Lobo starts to like him, like, let's say we drink first. So he decides, they're going to have Lobo come along with them. And there's the project, the Tree City from Cadmus. He's making his way there, and this is where he meets up with Guardian.
Mm-hmm.
And he's trying to find out Commander James Olsen, his father. He's trying to do all this stuff. Again, he's doing this on his own because Clark won't help him. Draco's trying to say, get us over there as fast as you can, obviously. And Lobo gives Bibbo the recording goggles as they're heading on over, ready for the big fight, which leads over here. Yeah, this is a 6-issue arc.
Okay.
Oh, look at this artwork. Look at that.
I love that. That's so cool.
All right. Superman, I can smell that Kryptonian hide of yours a light year away. And I know you're around here someplace. Show yourselves, buddy, because now it's fragging time.
He literally dropped in it's Morbin time.
This is long before that.
Yeah, I know.
Yep. Oh, meets up with us. Hey, long time no see, Mr. Managing Editor. I must say, certainly looks like the new job is treating you well. Lois, you look nice too. And what's new and exciting at the planet? Tell you what, why not come over to my place for a special home-cooked meal tomorrow night? And I'll bring you up to date. Oh, she is, again, this is the point where Lois is finally starting to realizing she really likes Clark.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, and thank you, but no, Lois. I see no reason for us to socialize now that we're no longer colleagues. Oh, well, see you around, Mr. Kent. I don't blame her for being cold. Not the way he phrased that.
Yeah, exactly.
Hell, I'm pretty sure Wonder Woman would have been cold to him if he talked like that.
Probably. I would say so. If you were that cold, she would have been a little peeved.
Yeah, I have no reason for us to socialize now that we're no longer colleagues. I think Diana would have, rather than wondering what's going with him, she would have been more just as much like, oh, is that how you see us?
I don't think she would have been cold. She would have been hurt, but I don't think she would have been cold because it's not really Diana.
Well, true, but I mean, an immediate reaction. She would then be like, sorry.
Yeah, I think so. Somewhere.
But yeah, but look at it. There's the Kryptonians still like, super, huh? Did I just imagine that, or is there something more happening here?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so look who out! Now you get the joke. Lobo's getting on ahead. Drago's dragging behind, and then who's after Lobo? But before Drago, Maxima.
Oh boy.
So notice that they're like, ah! Again, Dragon's like, get me there. Wait, they just passed me. I gotta get before him. What the devil? Come on, how is this for comedy, right? Just like,
That's great.
what the? And look, he ended up on Cleric's asteroid. So, of course, no! Must the accursed Kryptonian's legacy follow me everywhere? The gods torment me by leaving me here in the middle of an asteroid field. And as we realize, it's the Cleric ship.
Mm-hmm.
Get out, all of you. Get out now. Hey, pal, how you doing? And of course, the fact that in the anime series, same voice actor.
Oh, cool.
Brad Garrett voiced both Bibbo and Lobo in Superman the anime series, so it's fitting here.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, pal, how you doing? We would have rung your doorbell, but we can't find it. Look at these key video glasses my buddy Lobo gave me. Lobo, like the wolf, Bibbo? No offense, but you don't want to know. It's pretty gross. Your breasts. You guys have been drinking. Hey, want a swig? Hardly. Data kids. You mean this is Superman? He don't look so tough to me. He doesn't even wear armor. Now, just to point out, he might not look it, but already look how strong Lobo is.
Yeah.
Basically, yes, it's all that strength you see in his bulked up form condensed down.
Okay.
But it gives him the berry juice and everything. Oh, just look at it. Now, all right, about time this stuffed shirt showed some life. So now that you realize you can't kill me, why not leave before you have to be carried out? Can't kill ya? Give me a break, Blue. I'm Lobo, man. When the meanest, baddest suckers in the galaxy need someone off, they call me. When the Coons need a planet's leader knocked off before they invade, they call me. When Darkseid needs someone assassinated, you know who he calls? Amazing Grace. Ooh, I'm gonna love making you pay for that one. Superman, I'm being sarcastic. Amazing Grace. You know, one of Lobo's one of the Furies.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, just look at this.
This is so gross. Yeah, I love that.
But then they meet up with Lana, and they bought a present for Clark and said, "Oh, he gave it before he flew off," but they can tell, and it's like, then why does he come to see me when a Superman needs a psychologist to unload on? Because of Superman, I've been kidnapped by Lucifer, brainwashed by aliens, hospitalized by Matrix, and to top it all off, Clark ignores my birthday. I don't know why I stand here and let him do that to me. Maybe it's time I leave Smallville and put Clark Kent and his secret behind me forever. Yeah! Okay, again, this is good character growth, wouldn't you say?
Mm-hmm.
Realizing after pointing something like that, this will push Lana over the edge.
Mm-hmm.
But again, you could tell this was planned out.
Yeah.
But you know, they did that. Each issue, they would have on a big white paper, each issue, what each character trait would do leading into the next.
Mm-hmm.
I miss those days.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, then they meet up. Then, of course, Swords and Storms in was one. Your new boy Kent just fired me after 32 years of service here, and I want to know why. Now, hold on, Oscar. This is the first I've heard of this. Look, Colin, I was there when your father started this magazine. Why, I remember the day you started working as a copy boy, and now your new hatchet man tells me I don't have the proper vision for Newstime's future. Rest assured that as long as I'm here, you will always have a job, Oscar. As for you, Mara, find Kent. And yes, sir, right away, Mr. Thornton. Again, even though we say Tan, it shows that even as Thornton, he's a reasonable man.
Mm-hmm.
Probably because he's content with ruling hell. Oh boy, and now see, they have a hollow room and everything. Just look at this big fight. And you realize the floor is real enough.
Mm-hmm.
But then Superman notices where he put the kryptonite, so he's like, "Uh-oh, gotta get out of there." Then Lobo finishes off the berry juice. They teleport out, and this is where he uses the Kryptonian battlesuit. And then it protects him a bit from the kryptonite radiation, but not all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy, just like maybe Superman ain't so tough as I figured. I never cheated by wearing no armor in the ring. And
is that the armor that he wears when he shows up in Return of Superman?
Yep.
Okay.
Then look at this. Jam! Boom! For a moment, they think he's dead. I love it. You killed Superman. That means you're really tougher. You know what else that means? You're my new favorite. I gotta get a new t-shirt made. Love it, babe. Let's do lunch. Yeah, it turns out the berry juice brings about amnesia.
Okay.
So none of them are going to remember any of this. That explains why in World Without Superman, Lobo said, I never got a piece of him. Because he doesn't remember this.
Okay.
But yeah, it turned out it was all a hologram just to get rid of Lobo.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and then we really find out Bibble wore them backwards.
Mm.
So all they got was their reaction.
Oh, that's funny.
So yeah, all that for nothing. And then we get Maxima showing up. Now look at it. We open like, anything you want, Mr. Kent, just let me know. That I will, Oscar. And you're Donald Kelly, Mr. Kent. It's a pleasure. Mr. Kelly's our graphics and director, sir. Call me Clark. You won last year's Gutsy Award, didn't you? Why, yes. Morning, Clark. Clark? Oh, Mr. Kent. And the new layout is ready for. Fine. Geez, did he get up on the wrong side of the bed? Why would he fire Oscar? The man was only a year away from retirement. He seemed so nice at first. If he fired an Oscar, none of us are safe. Hard to believe this is the same Clark Kent who wrote for the Daily Planet. From his writing, he came across as a caring human being, but in person, he's such a cold fish. Perry Wright was right. The job of an editor is entirely different from that of a reporter. Always listen to your people, he said. My people whisper about me behind my back and think I can't hear and hear. They fear me. Still, if fear yields the result I desire, so be it. Again,
I love that image of the Superman thing behind him in a shadow.
And look, not of this earth.
Yeah, I like that. That's cool.
So he's doing a bit of a story, reads over a story going on about talking about the other aliens. I had the advantage, of course, of being born and raised in this world. It was just barely 2 years ago that I myself learned that So this is 2 years. Wait a minute. Yeah, 2 years he learned about his. Okay, this is 2 years after the end of Man of Steel, which was after that time skip.
Okay.
Remember, he did it. First he being Superman, then he went to Metropolis. Then we had the time skip. Then at the end of that mini, he found out he was Kryptonian.
Okay, that makes sense.
So this is not 2 years after him being Superman. This is just 2 years after he found out about his Kryptonian heritage.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yep. Of course, by this point, most people still don't know Superman's alien yet.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we get a bit of a summary about so many other things, like an Arctic monster, or dealing with Brainiac. This is the Brainiac trilogy, or what happened with Shazu and Maxima, and because Maxima sent a simulacra over herself there, that Shazu had destroyed because Shazu realized Superman is not worthy of Maxima.
Can I say that Maxima is one of those characters that I think is underrated and underutilized?
But then when she is utilized, sometimes it's not for the right reason.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm saying,
I'm sorry, I did not like them making her a lesbian recently, and then revealing that this Maxima was a fake.
Yeah, I'm sorry. No,
what the hell? What the hell? I hate when it goes that far.
Honestly, you know what it is? That's kind of mean-spirited, if I may, because you're taking a version. If you want to make a clone of Maxima or something like that, that's fine. But when you take away, or reboot, when you take away a version that actually has a fan base or has had a.
That's because you want to make clear she's never going to be straight. She's always going to be lesbian. She's never going to want Superman again. That was a fake. Shut up.
Yeah, exactly. That's when I say maybe the WOKE word kind of can be used.
Yeah, because that goes too far. That particular incident went way too far to try and then, again, it was fine making her a lesbian. It was the new 52. They didn't have to bring the original and say, nope, the man lover was a fake.
Yeah, don't dump on the original.
Yep. But yeah, so, they're saying all this stuff. Of course, like, now, here's the other thing. Being a managing editor, he can't run out for a story.
Mm-hmm.
You realize that, right?
Yeah.
That's a story. That's not a job you can just ditch. But yeah, Maxima shows up, sends Shazu back up, and now she's going to deal and try to seduce Superman, of course. Superman, I could scarcely have planned this better. And who is this? And he gives chase. Good. Definitely female in appearance. Stop. I want to word with you. Do you indeed? I would oblige you, Man of Steel, but I take orders from no one. She's just showing off what she can do. And basically then introduces herself, explains everything about it, how she's watched him during his time on Warworld and everything. You'll find the Kryptonian appealing, my lady, but such mercy as he shows can be a fatal flaw in a warrior. Perhaps, but he shows definite potential. Hence why she's in the simulacra there to test him so she can still be busy with her empire. And this is where we find out about how their genetics are perfect match.
Okay, so this is the first appearance of actual Maxima.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
This is her actual first appearance. But like I said, this is where I found out like ours would be an ideal mating. But then I love like, I have no desire to father despots. I beg your pardon. I simply do not believe that the Kryptonian line should be grafted into a race of hot-blooded barbarians. What? Are you saying that I am not worthy of you? Oh, yeah. Oh, geez. Superman, show yourself. You have heinously insulted the house of Almerac. Such an affront which shall not go unanswered. How dare you label my line as unworthy? Oh, boy. They fight. She puts a thing on his, enters his mind and tries to seduce him, but the Eradicator overrides it. What? The image warping my illusion is a presence, an overriding presence in your mind. Oh, gets right up and like, you are unworthy, but not because you are overly merciful. Far from it. You have become heartless, passionless. Ooh. Again, it's one of those cases where having it happen, it's one of those cases where having the story happen when they're not in the right state of mind, setting up a bad precedent, I always find interesting. I miss when comics did this.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Oh, but look at the outfit.
Yeah, there you go.
And now she's stuck there. But then it's then decided she's going to be sent back because of diplomatic immunity.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah. Oh, Mayor Berkowitz and everyone meeting up. This is when they decide they have to let her go. And that's they're heading on. Oh, they're about to be making it to Earth next.
Mm-hmm.
See, this is where the next 3 issues, the final phase. This is where Kent, since I'm the man who hired you as editor of News Time magazine, I feel it's my place to say I have mixed emotion about some changes here. This isn't the close-knit operation it once was. Have I not performed the duties you engaged for me, Mr. Sorton? I delivered a solid magazine week in and week out as you requested of me. You're not getting it, Ken. You manage to alienate valued longtime employees. You fire people who don't agree with you. So excuse me, but a situation is developing in New York. This is where he runs up like, we have report and see to what? I'm talking to you, Kent. We have reporters to cover stories. Kent, where'd he go? And then, whoop. He's now notice how he's going to fly soon. Like, I am in his metropolis. Why does he not show himself? Get breathe. I will pay for your vehicle. Get breathe. Here, Cromden, and inhales to this device. And in fact, he won't let him. He doesn't want him to die. I have no use for you dead. You brought me within reach of my goals to confront the Kryptonian.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Boom. Like, where did you? I am Kal-El. You may speak in your own tongue. I have prepped for this moment.
Notice he says, I am Kal-El and not I am Superman.
Because he's now taken over.
Yeah, I like that. That's cool.
Yep. Your face is now smooth. Your garment's different, but it's you at last. I wear your totem as a symbol of my humiliation. I piece together remnants of this, the uniform you wore when you were brought to Warworld. It means nothing to me. State your business or I shall leave. My business is this. I was the champion of the gladiatorial game, earning my life through the deaths of my opponents. That was until you bested me in battle. The rule was clear. Kill him! I am Superman and I don't kill. You cheated me of my death right. You owe me a return match. To the death. You convinced honor was vanity, but I have violated your code. Let me make amends by firing the first volley. See? As a Kryptonian, he wouldn't see any qualms killing.
Yeah.
That makes it clear that's not a Kryptonian. Oh, and also Clark's being evicted. Why? He doesn't bother paying for his stuff. Why? Because he's been too busy focusing in the fortress.
You know what's very interesting about this story so far that I noticed, particularly as like a fan of a certain director's DC movies, is that you notice how like in Man of Steel he killed Zod, obviously, and you notice how like he doesn't kill people afterwards, kind of like that. So it's kind of mirroring this.
I get that, but the way because we had Exile still, and Exile, yeah. I think I hate to say this. That certain nothing of those old certain directors' Fallout movies could match what Exile did because Exile was.
That's fine if you prefer. I'm saying I see like certain like parallels in the storytelling.
Yeah, but you get what I'm saying, though, because think about that. Having Superman go that far, where he was beating on people brutally, not killing them, but pulling a Batman at night, and he wasn't even aware of it. He wasn't even aware of what he was doing. It was all subconscious.
That would have been cool if they did that for like a Man of Steel 2.
Or something like that, playing off of it. But I don't think they would have been interested in that story. I hate to say that. That sounds cool, but it's not cinematic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, true.
That sounds like something you do for a show. For a movie, they wouldn't have had interest. Now, I wouldn't mind doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's ways to make it work, but it's not the big, huge cinematic type of story you would want.
Yeah, what you could do is just take like what you could do is just have the general have a story where like in like Man of Steel 2, Superman deals with like the aftermath of killing Zod. Maybe he has a little trauma from taking a life.
Yeah. Now, just to point this out, and now we also have, he's not the only one being evicted, but so is what's his name? Gangbuster.
Oh, okay.
I just forgot what his name is. Jose Delgado.
Mm-hmm.
And we find out he had gotten his legs broken since Superman had took over as Gangbuster, and then the Lex brought him on board. But then with some hints from Hamilton, he was able to screw Lex over and be able to have the use of his legs without being indebted to Luthor.
Mm-hmm.
But look at this. Look how Superman. Wait till you see how Superman flies. Oh, Hamilton is going to be all like, something's going on here. His ad has been so cavalier. He's been so bloody full of himself. Well, it's time Hamilton stepped in. This tells you how much Hamilton used to care about him.
Yeah.
Even here, he's working on a teleport device and everything. Oh, I love this. What a sight. An Ascidic Saw 3 style transport. Hey, you crazy? Whoop! My car! Just look at this fight.
That's epic.
Yep. They're just pounding on each other and everything. We got a bit of a setup here with Bruno Mannheim. Not important. I'm talking to Morgan Edge. Mannheim and Morgan Edge working together. Oh yeah, like, hey, where's my 650? Okay, you want to know what the running gag of 650 was?
Okay.
There's a reason why every cab fare, no matter what, was always 650 in the comic. It's because one of their editors once said, you want to go work for the competition? Go on over there. I'll pay the cab fare. It'll be $6.50.
Okay, that's what that was.
That's where the gag came from. And they kept that up as a running gag for a good point. And eventually they say it's $7. I thought it was $6.50. What can I say? Prices go up, and they stopped it after that.
I like that. That's funny.
And even issue 650 had it on the cover. $6.50.
Mm-hmm.
Man, where's my 650? Oh, but look at this. He's working on a device. He's trying to transport them somewhere and them to the moon. Oh, there's Kat and her son.
Okay.
But yeah, they're pounding on each other. Then he's like, convince him of the folly of all this, or administer him his death rights. Again, you're like, Jesus, Clark! Right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, makes the way up. Now look at it. Puts his glasses. Whoops! Look at the number. 502. Uh-oh!
Oh.
Whoops! He put his glasses down and whoopsie! And he ends up transporting a huge chunk, a half a Lady Liberty!
Oh, wow.
And they're still pounding at each other, and then he's ready to kill him!
Oh, wow.
Look at that. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Look how pointy it is. That's gonna kill him.
Yeah.
He tries to stop it. Uh-oh. Ah! NASA satellite's able to watch in on everything. They're like, they realize something's wrong. There's something wrong, Jonathan. Terribly wrong. Clark looks so cold and distant. I've never seen him like this. Something about this outfit is familiar, but I can't place it. Good Lord, if I didn't know better, I swear Clark was about to kill that alien. Somebody had better be up writing this. What a story. Story, a friend of ours is about to take a life, and all you care about is a story? Something tells me that, and that Superman and Boom may not be our friend anymore. Cat? Hey, good going, Emo. You're really blown it this time. So he works it up, uses a belt, a transporter belt that he had been given before, and brings him back. I did it. It worked. Professor Emil Hamilton, I suspect you were engineering these transportations. for the physical sensation caused by that mechanism are not easily forgotten. Your motivation, however, mystifies me. Mystifies you? Superman, you're about to kill Draga. Have you forgotten the trauma you went through after you killed those criminals from that other dimension? A minor event in my past. Draga was so angry with me for not killing him when I defeated him in battle earlier that he attacked me. His race recognizes death in battle as a point of honor. Therefore, it was only logical that I respect his culture and take his life. I don't believe what I'm hearing! How can you be so cavalier about taking a life? It's downright immoral! Morality wears many faces. Is it not moral to grant Draga that which he seeks? What's going on with you lately, anyway? Why are you wearing these weird clothes? And why are you talking so differently, so detached? Calm yourself. My life is now as it was meant to be. Farewell, Professor Hamilton. Superman, wait! There's something wrong with you! Remember what happened before when you tried to handle your problems alone? How you thought you were someone else? Don't you remember? And Gangbuster? That's where he didn't realize. He's like, okay, fine, I'll go out there as Gangbuster again. And this is where he's going to be fired. For I consider it rude of you to violate my request for privacy. Have you lost sense, Kent? In case you haven't forgotten, I'm the one who signs your paychecks. Indeed, so you should realize the value of allowing me to perform my job. The impromptu conference, it's interfering with that task. Your task? Your task? As my employee, your task is to follow my orders. And my orders are to get your act together and knock off the stormtrooper bit. I assume you're referring to my necessary dismissal of several ineffective members of this staff. Necessary? Some of those people have been here for years and you heartlessly fired them. Consider this an order, Kent, and hire those people back pronto. Then you're asking me to perform my job at a lesser level, a request for which I cannot abide. Then have it your way, Kent. You're fired. Get out of my building. As you wish. Farewell. You know, I've never seen anyone take unemployment so calmly. The guy has icy water in his veins. That, my dear, is precisely why he had to go. So what have you thought about Thornton throughout all this?
It's interesting. I'm like, wow. It's
reasonable businessman.
It's kind of jarring.
But if you didn't know about the Satan stuff, you just think, again, good business guy.
Mm-hmm.
Very reasonable.
Yeah.
Like he's up there with Perry, you would think, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you want to know what this is set up for?
Oh, let me guess. Cyborg Superman.
Kenshaw.
There you go. So that's where that's from.
Yep. Now, of course, he meets up with his neighbor, Andrea. And when he finally in Victor, like, so, seems I must honor their wishes. Are you mad? If I were you, I'd be lining up one good, mean, fiery lawyer. An unnecessary measure. This abode holds no special meaning for me, and management's decisions is a logical one. Mom and Pa show up. Good gravy, Clark. What's going on? We were watching you on the tube, and then you disappeared. Clark, are you there? Indeed I am, Jonathan Kent. You need not worry about me, though, for I am quite well. Of course we're going to worry. We're your parents, for crying out loud. In point of fact, that is not correct. My parents are Kryptonians. Clark, you sound so cold. Why? What's troubling you, son? Nothing. Soon enough, everything will be in perfect order. What do you mean perfect? What are you up to now? I no longer see any reason to live the lives of two men, Jonathan Kent. Clark Kent and Superman will soon cease to exist. There will only be Kal-El. And now I know why that get-up of yours you're wearing on the moon would seem so familiar. It looks kind of like those robes your Kryptonian father wore in that image I saw of him way back in Man of Steel. But that sure doesn't explain why you want to chuck your life as Clark Kent and Superman. Little logic exists in one man living two lives. My Kryptonian heritage is the one I must follow. Farewell, Jonathan and Martha Kent. Clark! He hung up on me. No, he never did that unless our boy needs us, Martha. I'm going to call Lana and ask her to pick us up. You go grab the suitcases and start packing. Packing? Land's sakes, Jonathan, where are we going? Everyone make like a statue now. Got a robbery going on. Gangbuster stops him, and then Superman shows up, and then look what he does. Blows him into the wall. Hard. Again, Superman would never do that.
Yeah.
Hey, Super Cop, how about you come down so we can talk? As you request. And look how he's just hovering there like.
You know what's kind of funny? This is like Superman if he were possessed by General Zod.
Pretty much. Well, Zod is pretty much a pure Kryptonian.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, but look, Gangbuster just snaps him and saying, Yeah, but I had it under control. I'm tired of you butting in. And he says, we don't need you. And I most certainly do not need you. Look how much is stuffed into this one issue.
Wow.
Have you noticed that? Look how much is just stuffed into this. And again, it's a normal size issue. Look, page 18.
Mm-hmm.
And look how he's flying. Look at how he's flying.
Yeah. Wow.
He's just like, because like, why? Why bother with that? What's the point?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Lana doesn't want to come with them. Since Clark doesn't have room for me in his life when things are good, I can't allow myself to be used when things are bad. You'll have to go to Metropolis without me. Again, I don't blame her.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, they're trying to figure out about, I love how Durganstraw's Lois is here. I mean, look at her.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so this is what she revealed about what she had just heard about him being fired. Great Scott! Why? I heard he was doing so well. I don't know, but I'm pretty worried about Clark and about him being evicted too. I couldn't even reach his parents in Smallville. Yeah, they're all worried. They're freaked out. It doesn't make sense. How could Thornton fire a born editor like Clark? That's not all. So all this stuff. Again, these are his friends.
Yeah.
All three of them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and, look at the irony. They're flying to Metropolis. He's going past them.
Mm-hmm.
And again, he's just like, how could I have let this happen? All I want to do is protect Lady Liberty, and I wound up dissecting her and leaving her apart on the moon. And Superman, poor Superman. Several months ago, he was buried himself in another identity and became a fairly violent gangbuster. Now he's assumed his new persona, a pure Kryptonian one from the looks of things. The problem, how do we bring him back? And then just look at that, like, yeah. And now the last one. Oh, look at that cover.
I love that.
And I believe this was Perez's last time on the book.
Okay.
Like, oh my lands. I think this is their first time with them in Metropolis.
Yeah.
Yeah, Taxi, they find out about, he's being evicted and all that. But he then brings, the man's just doing his job. I swear, I don't know what's happening to the city. Everyone has their hand out. Is that the problem? Do you want us to pay you to let us in? I'll pretend I didn't hear that, sir. Yeah, misreading the signs there, Jonathan. Oh, look, look at Jonathan. They're dressed up so he's wearing a bow tie and everything going to Metropolis.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, they let him on up there, and then look at this. Hello, Martha. Hello, Jonathan. I was not expecting this visit. It's fortunate I heard you arguing with the doorman when I did. The apartment staff is very conscientious. He would have called the police. Please come in. Welcome to my apartment, such as it is. And it's just like, he just lets out. They're robots, Martha, I think. Correct, Jonathan. They are indeed robots, and I sure think their actions obvious. But I see that you wish a statement from me. Very well. They are packing my belongings for transport to my new home in the Arctic. Arctic? What's going on around here? I can see how living in the city could drive a man loco, but for Pete's sake, you're Superman. I was Superman, Jonathan. Now I am Clark Kent. Is that so? Well, Mr. L, let me tell you something. Thanks to the satellite dish you gave us last Christmas, your mom and I saw most of the dust of you had on the moon with that big, ugly cuss. Nastiest fight I ever did see. You look like you're ready to, and you were fixing to do that fella in. When the picture fell apart, we were worried half to death. But when we got on the phone later, you hung up on us. You've been acting mighty peculiar, son. We want to know why. See, this is why I love this Jonathan.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I gotta be honest. Could you honestly see Snyder's Jonathan doing this?
Yeah, if he had lived.
Really?
Yeah.
We'll never know. We'll never know if he would have approved of him as Superman. We'll never know.
Yeah, we will, because there was that scene in Zack Snyder's Justice League where he walks out in the black suit and he goes, "Fly, son, it's time."
Okay, that's true. Okay, you're right. But anyway, but of course, that's Clark's mental image of him. That doesn't mean that's what would have happened. You do know that. There is a big difference. If it's his mental image, that's what Clark would want him to be saying.
Well, the overall thing about what John was saying in Man of Steel was choose your time very carefully.
Yeah, but again, it's the stuff like the maybe it's what still gets to me. Just let him die.
Because because here's the thing, he wasn't saying maybe you should just let them die. He's saying you have to be careful.
Again, that's not the Jonathan I'm used to. Jonathan in most versions would have encouraged him, saying, you did a good job. Maybe tell him to rein it in, but he wouldn't be going that far to make him feel guilty about it.
Well, the original Jonathan Kent from the original Action Comics was like, nope, keep this to yourself. They will fear you.
Okay, that's fair. Again, I'm just so used to this, Jonathan.
That's fair. And you know what, dude? That's fair enough. It's your prerogative.
Yeah, because this Jonathan, again, is the type who's like, you get it, man. You didn't do it clear. You can't put once the cat's out of the bag, you can never put it back. They do give him that warning, but they're like, but they're more encouraging rather than putting the fear in him. It's more, that's what I didn't care for, was putting the fear of what happens when you let it out of the bag more than it's the case of, because it made it sound like he didn't trust him to know when the time was.
Well, actually, counterpoint, later on in that scene when he shows him the ship, he basically goes,
oh, you are my son. Yeah, now that's right from Jeff Johns' stuff, of course.
Yeah, of course. And he basically says, it's not he basically says, Clark, it's going to be your choice. You have to choose the type of man you're going to be. If you choose to be Superman, that's why I think if let's say Jonathan lived and then Clark became Superman, I think he would have been fine with it because it was
again. That's what I said. I'm not saying he wouldn't. I'm just simply saying we will never know. That's all I said.
Yeah. Okay.
That's all I said. I didn't mean to say he wouldn't. I was just pointing out that Clark's mental image. We'll never really know.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so of course he's just going on and on about how there's no need to be either of them now. Everything, he's lost his job, the apartment's been evicted. But then look what Jonathan says. Well then, if earthly matters are of no concern, then why did you bother to have your robot pack these?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Like, why? If you don't matter anymore, why? And they're like, very well. What's that gibberish supposed to mean? That gibberish is Kryptonese. Yeah, that was back when it was just Kryptonese. We never knew the translation.
Okay, yeah.
Which, I'll be honest, I missed that.
I missed that. I do. I remember I have the trade for the.
Oh, complete. That was a different type of Kryptonese. Completely different.
No, but what I was saying is I have the trade of the storyline where actually Kara came back to life.
Yep, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Completely different Kryptonese. That was a redefined. That's what I was saying. I knew exactly what you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so look, they're heading on over there, flying on there, and soon as I just love it. So this is just going to be between Clark, Mom, Pa, and the Eradicator. No one else.
Mm-hmm.
Prepare yourself. What are you doing? Slow down, we'll crash. Panic is pointless. Clark! And now look at this. Like, you should both feel privileged. What you see before you is the legacy of the world of Krypton. These were my true parents, Jor-El and Lara. In effigy, they hold their world and all their greatness it represents. It is upon my shoulder to continue that greatness. Follow me and behold the grandeur that was Krypton. And basically on all this, we get a summary of all of about the fortress, a tour of it, and showing off the Kryptonian evidence. I loved it. I must dedicate my life to its continuance. No, I don't see any such thing. If you ask me, a man have to be a dang fool to want to live that way, living like how the Kryptonians. Then by your standards, I am a fool. And I thought you possessed enough reason to understand. But Kal-El, didn't you once tell us that Jor-El himself believed the Kryptonians had lost something? Didn't you say he had admitted his love for Lara? That's emotional. Yeah. And when the time came to send you to a safe world, to escape Krypton's destruction, Jor-El deliberately sent you to Earth, to a planet full of emotional, irrational beings. And do you deny that? No. What you say is true, but... Oh! The mech is acting up. The robots, protect the Kents at all costs. I will attend to this treacherous construct. Yeah, they're not going to protect them!
Mm-hmm.
The Eradicator realizes, oh shit!
His control is about to be like broken.
Because they're using logic!
Mm-hmm.
They're using facts! Because notice the Eradicator is avoiding Jor-El. Did you notice that?
Yeah, exactly.
It avoided everything about Jor-El, but oh look, I said, didn't you hear me? I said, release them! How dare you obey me? You shall not. Now notice, he goes from Kryptonese to English. You shall not harm these people. I will not allow it. Notice that. He goes from Kryptonese straight to English. I regret this. And then he soon realizes he's been under their control. And then look, well then we got to stop it. Not Jonathan, no Jonathan, not we. You'll be safe in this. Hey, son, no, don't go against that and alone against that contraption. Clark, can you hear us? No mere human can withstand and the Eradicator's power. This job requires a Superman. Kal-El, resist the way of passion. It is unseemly for you to hold the terrestrials in higher esteem than things Kryptonian. You monster, what have you done to me? This unit has restored your proper heritage. Divest yourself of things emotional. Accept the world of Krypton. I should have done. Accept the word and the word of Krypton. Accept! You have warped my perception. This is my world, not Krypton. Krypton is dead! Dead! I'm like, so many have tried to bend my will. No, Darkseid and Amazing Grace, Sleaze, Brainiac, even Maxima. But I resisted their attempt to control me, and I will resist you! When my Superman uniform transformed into his bodysuit, I should have recognized your touch. This was your creation. Oh, look what fell! Clang to clang! You must have been manipulating me all these months, dulling my emotions, but no more! You must not resist. You are the last living Kryptonian. The legacy of Krypton must be preserved. If you will not submit, your mind must be erased and reprogrammed. Get back, son. If this thing is really from Krypton, maybe a little kryptonite will settle its hash. Radiation, disrupting, program, interference. Pa, deep down, you're still our boy. We love you. Krypton is a cold, heartless society, my son. Only you can escape our doom. You're Superman. Superman belongs to the world. Superman. Pa, get behind me now. Cease this hostility. And then look, he realized that even the clothing could still control him. So, but what do? He wraps it up, and sure is. When we saw that Draga fellow on TV wearing your old outfit, your mom packed this for you, just in case. And thank you, both of you. Next you excuse me, I promise you I'll be right back. This is my destiny, to be Superman. It's not the easiest path in life, but it's one I've chosen. Just knowing that the choice was mine makes me feel free. A penny for your salt, Martha? I was just thinking about raising children. You try your best to set good examples for them, but you always worry if you've done enough to keep them from losing their bearings. Well, you can stop worrying. A mother never stops worrying, but yes, he's going to be all right. A lungful of air will only let me go a million miles. This is back still when he could hold it in his breath and keep it oxidized, but not just fly through space.
Okay.
Strange. The old cleric who gave me the Eradicator called it my legacy. He wanted me to take it and learn from it. Well, cleric, if I've learned anything from it, it's that I am more an Earthman than I've ever been a Kryptonian. Too bad my inheritance couldn't understand that. I inspected every last shred of it with my microscopic vision, and it seems harmless. But I'm not taking any more chances. It was either the Eradicator or the costume it created. It was programmed to preserve the Kryptonian ways over all others. I couldn't accept that Kryptonian society. It couldn't accept that Kryptonian society had died in spirit long ago, before it had, in fact, or that its sole surviving son had embraced a better way. The Eradicator belongs to a dead past, cleric. I hope that you'd agree. You once said that Krypton would live on as long as I endured. Well, I believe you are right. Krypton will live on through me, but only under my terms.
That's
now,
cool.
I think this is better than how Byrne did it.
Yeah, I do agree, yeah.
But I still make it clear. This Krypton should not be continued.
No. In a way, what you were, what Kimmy says is that Clark represents, as Jor-El has indicated, what Krypton should be.
Should be, yes. Not what it was.
No.
And let's be honest, even in the Snyderverse, no way should he have ever been Kryptonian of that society.
No, and even Jor-El says that. He's like, no, I was gonna say that's in Man of Steel. Jor-El's like, yeah, we lost.
Then you get Zod. Look at the fact that Zod was programmed genetically to act this way. That's why he said, "This is what I am.
This is what I'm designed only to be a soldier." Now, was it in this era or after this where it was established that like Kal-El was Krypton's first natural birth in centuries?
No, this was still the Eradicator, the same way as everyone else from the birthing matrix.
Okay.
That would not, and even then, they never had to be. He was the first in a long time. And none of the comics have done that, actually.
Oh, really? Oh,
there might have been one or two issues that try to retcon it, but got ignored.
Mm-hmm.
Like there'll be some that somehow forgot, oh wait, there's the birthing matrix, that'd be, oh, Laura was pregnant. I think post Infinite Crisis, they loosely played with it.
Yeah, because I like that, particularly for Superman, because again, like we said earlier, Superman's supposed to be the hope of what Krypton can be.
Yeah, but again, no, the Snyderverse was the first time where he was their first natural birth in ages. As far as I can recall, none of the others went for that hyper specific of him being the first. He was just born.
And truthfully, and this is not just because I like the Snyderverse, but I like that more than him being from the birthing matrix as well.
Well, to be fair though, the birthing matrix does allow one thing: he was born on Earth.
Technically, yes.
No, literally.
Yeah, but
he was a fetus in the birthing matrix as it came to Earth. So once it opened, he was literally born.
That's true.
That's why in that annual during Armageddon 2001, they had it be he could run for president.
President Superman, that'd be actually really cool, and they did that with Calvin Ellis. But the thing, again, it's like because symbolically, what Jor-El wanted Kal-El to be, I think it works better if he's like the first natural birth on Krypton.
Yeah, understandable, and for that story they wanted to tell, yes. But that's when you want his origin to be having that utmost importance beyond just him being sent to Earth, which I do applaud that with the Snyderverse. But so I will not argue. But again, so this story overall, what do you think about this story? How it's showing? I
liked it.
Yep, showing a Superman that, you know.
It's showing why Byrne's Krypton was not good, and I said that, well, not good. It's just why that Krypton should not be continued. And you know, it's kind of funny. I've made the same argument on my show a bunch of times about the Byrne Krypton of it being like emotionless, like robots, basically like Vulcans.
But it's still the fact that the other writers still saw something in it.
Yeah,
that still tells you
they were still I like how they basically took, instead of like straight up like throwing it out, they basically just gave you a story about it and showed that like this should not be carried on. Here's how Superman relates to that version of Krypton.
And this is why I miss this era. I miss it era because it was one big epic. It was an epic.
And even
multiple writers.
Kind of funny. What I brought up is what I wanted to bring up is like even with the teasing of Hank Henshaw. Granted, they wouldn't have known by this point that they were going to kill Superman, but it is kind of cool seeing that like they made.
Oh, he wasn't even going to be the cyborg Superman yet. He was just going to be Hank. It was supposed to be a subversion of the Fantastic Four.
Oh, okay, but it's still kind of cool seeing like how it's like where like Hank started to where I know he ends up. It's absolutely cool.
Well, yeah, but again, throughout all this. But I feel this applies to most Kryptons. That still, even with the emotion stuff, this shows why Superman. I think in a lot of ways, this deconstructs pre-crisis Superman. Where let's be honest, he was Kal-El in all but name.
Yeah.
Did he ever really act human in pre-crisis? Not really.
Not really. And this comes into like my belief that the best version of Superman is one that balances both, because ultimately you do have to have some Kryptonian in there, because ultimately his suit the S is Kryptonian. You can't like not here. But what I'm saying is like the idea that like
that was until Wade.
Okay, that was until Wade. But my point is like you can't because I feel like some writers ignore Krypton completely.
Oh, I agree with that.
And others do Krypton instead of humans.
Exactly. Now I will say this. This is what I keep saying. My opinion is the real man is the Clark Kent we see among Mon Pa or those who are in the know, where he's free to be himself. That means you have a bit of Kal-El. Here's what I say. Kal-El is never part of the equation. As in Kal-El himself. As in what he would have been like on Krypton. Kal-El doesn't exist.
Yeah. That is not a
Kal-El does not exist. I want to make that clear. Kal-El does not exist. Ever. But Clark Kent, because Clark Kent, I go with that. Clark Kent is who he really is. And the Clark Kent that's along with Mom, Pa, anyone who knows, where he can talk about his Kryptonian heritage and everything. Superman and Clark Kent, among everyone else, are fiction. Both of them are fiction. Clark, and you could tell, even when he's Superman, when he's talking to Mom and Pa, like here, that's Clark.
Yeah, that's Clark.
That is Clark dressed up as Superman. That's how I look at it. When he's and Superman, would you agree that Superman is a fiction? Clark at the Daily Planet is a fiction.
Yeah, they're both a fiction.
Again, Clark Kent, the real man Clark Kent, is the real person. That perfect balance of everything. But and this showed it. And again, I think this story would still hold up even with other versions of Krypton. Mine is pre-crisis. Mine is pre-crisis Krypton. I can't think of, I think even otherwise, even Mark Waid has made it clear, Krypton should not be continue on. It should be remembered. But that's what I feel. Krypton should never continue. It shouldn't. And I'll take a line from Man of Steel. Krypton had its chance.
Yeah, exactly. I love that line though.
That line makes so much sense.
Because God's like, if you destroy this ship, that's it. Krypton's done. He's like, no, Krypton has a chance. It's time to move on.
Exactly. Now I will also say this. I hear people say, oh, they killed all those fetuses. They were not coded at all. There was nothing in those fetuses.
Yeah, it was just like a husk, essentially.
I think that is a case where I hate using the line, but here it's literally, they were literally clumps of cells. Yeah. Literal, in the literal sense. Yeah. Not in the, oh, I want to do abortion stuff. No, not like that. In this case, there was nothing there.
Yeah.
Literally nothing there. It's like a soulless body. They were like, yeah, soulless.
They were a husk.
Exactly. So, yeah. But yeah, so what would you give this story overall? Like
ultimately a 9 out of 10 because the action's great. The art's fantastic. The contrast of Clark and Kal-El is really cool, and the way they build it, and I like that their use of like the Kryptonian suit as opposed to like just having him be emotionless, but in the Superman suit. I feel like that's a cool detail.
And the fact that this all happened during his time being that managing editor, which you can't help but wonder what would have happened if he wasn't managing editor. I mean, if this didn't happen during that point, or what happened if it did happen while he was still at the planet. Which you can still tell that's why they intentionally did it. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
But yeah, and again, the Eradicator, interesting. I wouldn't call it a villain per se.
No, it's a logical robot. It's essentially doing what it's programmed to do.
But it is villainous in its actions.
Yeah, in its actions it is, but
especially like, this moment here, and this moment.
Because you can argue that that's out of self-preservation. It's just reacting as any type of robot would, essentially.
In a way, I could so feel, again, it's like Zod. Kill just to make a point.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, that was the origin of the Eradicator. Now, the Eradicator would make another appearance later on, where it turned out throwing it in the sun, bad idea, because it would come back in a physical body.
Well, yeah, I was about to say, I'm like, generally Kryptonian things and yellow suns don't mix well.
But I get why. But this is one of the few times where Superman does the whole, just throw it in the sun.
Yeah, exactly.
And people make that joke, but you realize he didn't do it that often.
Yeah.
I don't get why people make that joke. You know what I mean? It's just like, oh, he just throws it in the sun. It's like, I can count on 2 hands probably the number of times he's done it.
Well, I think the idea is that if he like fought Batman and actually wanted to kill him, he'd just toss him into the sun and be done with it. He wouldn't like have this big pitched battle like in Injustice.
Oh no, you know what he would just do? Be at a distance. Doom!
Yeah, he just lobotomize Batman. There you go.
Not just lobotomize.
Yeah, just chop off his head. You're done. That's it.
Yep, I mean Lois did that in the Dark Multiverse Death of Superman.
Which was so cool, by the way. I love that.
Or what she did to Lex. Ah!
Yeah, she just flew him in through the atmosphere.
And it's like Clark Kent with Superman.
Yeah, I love that.
But you like that, Lois, of course.
No, it's just I like that idea of the story because again, it's like someone in grieving, but she's behaving not what Superman would want.
My problem, I did not like that one bit in that story where she started to look at all these modern news stories that didn't happen back in the 90s.
Yeah, that was an issue, but my liking that story has nothing to do with my abject hatred of Lois.
Now, one last thing. Where did this make you stand about Mom and Pa? Did this remind? Because if you know, some people, you know that tweet going on, people asking, give me a reason why Pa is important. Here.
Oh, I've always said, arguably, here's the thing, because it's been like posited, if you will, that like Superman is the most important DC character, and I kind of posit that, which makes Monpa Kent the most important character in DC, because who Superman is because of the way they raised him.
Again, post-crisis onward. Pre-crisis, sadly, no.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's my point.
I hate that. Again, I always hate dumping on pre-crisis. I do, but when you realize it, there's so many flaws.
Yeah.
And people just ignored.
And even in like the new 52, when Batman is talking to Superman and he goes, hey, listen, dude, there's a reason why I've always felt comfortable working with this, because ultimately you were raised human. You see yourself as just a human that has fantastical powers. And
again, the biggest reason why pre-crisis, the super recollection was always the biggest problem.
Mm-hmm.
Always, because he remembered everything from Krypton even as a baby, which that
made
right
no
there.
Sense.
But again, that just tells they might not acknowledge it, but it was always there. And, and if you also know, they rarely, except for an issue here or there, they almost never bring up Mom and Pa. They're just like, oh, they raised me to adulthood and then died. Oh, but it's all my Kryptonian stuff that I love so much.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they treated it. The Kents, they were afterthoughts for the most part. But here again.
Well,
this is why
it depends in the book, because in like Justice League, I think like 14 or something like that, in the new 52.
Oh no, I'm just talking pre-crisis.
Pre-crisis. Okay.
Yeah,
I would argue that like post-crisis and on, even into the new 52, is where they really fleshed out a lot of the stuff that we take for granted as Superman.
But here's the other thing: could Martha have done this alone? Hell no.
No, you still need John Kent. You need
a John. That's why I'm saying, when people are saying, give me a reason why Jonathan should still be alive, right here, this issue, right here. Martha, I hate to say this, Jonathan was the one having the cojones.
Now, that doesn't mean I don't like to see stories where like he doesn't have the Kents. Let's see how that develops Superman. But I'm saying I see the value of them 110%.
Yeah, that's why when Jeff Johns killed off Jonathan, it felt fine. It felt fine. He's like, he's been around long enough. Let's see what happened. And it was needed for New Krypton. It needed to put Superman in that bad mindset.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, and so yeah, that was the day of the Krypton Man. Thank you very much, Jared. Thanks everyone else. And is this going to be something you want to talk about in your show?
New Krypton? Probably.
No, not New Krypton. Oh. This story. Is this a story you wouldn't mind talking about in your show with your other co-hosts and everything? Because there's a lot I skipped over. Maybe
I may do a discussion on like post-crisis Superman, but yeah, I could see us covering this eventually.
Yeah, because this isn't an underrated story that deserves to be talked about more.
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree with that? This story, because it shows a lot of stuff people complain about with Superman.
I could see this honestly being a cool idea for a movie series.
A movie series or an animated movie at least.
Animated movie, yeah, exactly.
Maybe not theatrical, but animated, yeah. Oh no, not the first movie. Can we agree this? It should never be the first movie.
No.
It should be like the third movie. It should be the end of a trilogy.
Yeah, you could make this. What you could do is like have a trilogy where it's like Superman's early years, and then it caps off here, because here is like where he embraces his role as Superman, Earth's protector.
Exactly, Earth protector, and again, it puts aside Krypton, because like, yes, Krypton is there. Yes, I should always remember it, but it shouldn't dominate my life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there has to be a balance.
I mean, even Morrison gave him a balance. Say what you will. Morrison sometimes one who brings a bit too much. I'll be honest, the Krypton Man here with a version of Superman, this is Azarello Superman.
A little bit.
From For Tomorrow. This is exactly how he was in For Tomorrow.
Yeah, a little too cold and emotionless. Although here's the thing, that the reason for the For Tomorrow Superman was kind of BS. That like Lois and half of Metropolis disappears, so all of a sudden Superman gets depressed. I'm like, no.
Because it was his fault, but he doesn't remember it was his fault. So I think that was the justification. He knew deep down subconsciously it was his fault, but he made himself forget about it, so he doesn't know why he's blaming himself.
but still, that's BS. And I'm like, I don't like that.
Oh, I agree. It was complete BS. And that's why that's one of the worst Superman stories that keeps getting reprinted because of Jim Lee's artwork.
Yeah, I was about to say, I love that story for Jim Lee's artwork and the Superman Wonder Woman fight because I like that, but still.
And I love it. And I love it for the the Lois Lane in the wrapped up in the cape.
Cape. It's kind of funny.
I know you told me people have edited it to make it look like Diana, but it's like, you can't deny that.
Here's the funny part, yes, I can't deny it's a great image, but the funny part is that the way Jim Lee kind of draws Lois is that she's kind of interchangeable with Diana. All you have to do is draw the bracelets.
That's true, but I'll say this, that's another reason. He treats Clark Kent like I'm not the one she loves. Bullshit!
Yeah.
Would you at least agree that is still bullshit? When anyone ever says Lois, post-credit Lois never loved and Clark, it was always Superman. At first, right in the early days, but look at here. Look at how she was at the beginning here and during this point. This is when they knew they were going to get the two together. And you could tell when she's realizing, maybe I've been too harsh on Clark lately. You know what I mean? And look at it. And she offers him for a date at her place. It's like, oh. But again, it's like, you wouldn't do that nowadays. But back then, that was a simple request. Like, oh, why don't we go to my place for dinner and we could talk it over? And back then, you could simply ask that. Back then. Nowadays, oh no. I wouldn't trust anyone nowadays asking that, would you?
No, I can't see that coming.
Yeah, but yeah, so thank you guys for everything, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
See ya.
Take care.